Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we talk about everything financial literacy. And today we're going to be talking about how to build credit, business credit, the ultimate guide. Now, these are three videos that I've already done, but I want to put them into one comprehensive guide. The first one that we're going to discuss is going to tell you about how to actually start business credit. The next one talks about the net 30s. And the final one is going to be how you can start a successful business. So I kind of wanted to just break each of these down for you today to have an idea about how to watch them. So if you already have a business and you already have business credit established, then you might just want to go to the third video. If you are in the process of just starting a business, the first one, you definitely want to start from the top and just run them all the way down. And if you already have a business and it's established, but you want to understand, how to actually get a business credit score, the business credit bureaus, things of that nature, then it's the second video. I recommend, if you're just new to business credit at all, just watching all three, just watching them straight through. Especially the video that I have on how to start a successful business, $0 to $10,000 per month. I think that's one of the most underrated videos on this channel. And I really wanted to make sure that video got a little bit more shine, because I felt like that's the video where, yes, building business credit is good, but that's going to show you how to actually have a successful business where you can use that business credit to leverage that to where you can have a multi-million-dollar business. So I think that video is very important. But other than that, I just wanted to lay this out so you knew exactly how to watch this. And that was pretty much it. So you guys have a great day. The timestamps are in the description. Just choose the one that you're looking for. Again, the first one is going to be about business credit, learning about the business credit bureaus and some details about business credit and how to build it. The second one is going to be about net 30 vendors, establishing those and how to actually build a business credit profile. And the third one is going to be telling you about how to actually start a successful business where you can make cash flow, and then you can leverage business credit to actually take it that much further, which I think is the most important thing about this. All right. You guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching. How long would it take for most of us to save $100,000 to reinvest into our business? 5 years, maybe even 10 years for some of us. Well, today I'm going to show you how we can build business credit to get up to $100,000 in business funding, and it does not require documentation or proof of income. All you have to do is follow strategic steps and meet specific requirements. So join me on the computer, and I'm going to show you how we can build business credit to get up to $100,000 in funding in 2024. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I have a brand new business credit success guide. It's a completely free ebook about the introduction to business credit. Very short read. You can probably get it done in about 5 minutes. It's just some basic introduction to business credit, and some of the stuff that we're going to be discussing will be in this ebook. So go ahead, download that. The link is in the description. And without further ado, let's get back into the video. The 100K business credit play. There's been a lot of videos on YouTube about how to build business credit, and I think this is going to be the most efficient way and the fastest way that you can do this to get funded within 90 days, depending on where you are currently with your personal credit. Now, just a little introduction for me. I started establishing business credit probably around 2 or 3 years ago. I was introduced by one of my coworkers who really was, I think this guy may have been the first millionaire that I've ever actually met in person, and actually showed me his account. But, at the time I was thinking that was a lot of money, and, come to find out later on, it actually was not. So when he introduced me to business credit, I started seeing how you could leverage money that banks were giving you to, escape your 9-to-5 job, and that you can actually do a lot more with money as opposed to holding on to it. It's actually a liability to hold on to money. You need to purchase assets, and you need to keep money in rotation to make you more money. It's detrimental to your financial success to hold on and hoard money. Your money depreciates. You need to purchase assets in order for you to create income, and business credit just extends that reach. With your 9 to 5 job, you know how much money you can make per year. When it comes to business credit, you can really, there's no limit to how much you could get funded. So then there's no limit to how much money that you can make with that capital. So that's just a little brief introduction on how I got into business credit and why I think that it is very important for you to utilize it the proper way. So, what is business credit specifically? Simply put, it's capital that you acquire from a lender or a bank to your business entity. And this money is designed to help your business grow. It stimulates the economy through goods and services. And having a solid business credit profile will help you secure high limits, more desirable loan terms, and you can qualify for well over $100,000 in business credit within a few months. So, how was I able to do something like that? Well, I'm going to take you through a structured guide in order to figure that exact thing out. I just want to go over a few things with you that pertain to business credit, just so we have a better understanding of what it is. So for business credit, there are 3 main business credit bureaus. There's Experian Business, Equifax Business, and Dun & Bradstreet. And the scores for business credit normally range between 1 and 100. Similar players in the game: Equifax, Experian, we know them, TransUnion, those are the 3 main personal credit bureaus. So when you're looking at building business credit, one of the main things that we want to focus on is creating a structured business that's going to be able to get these 3 business credit scores, and we want to get them to at least an 80 for Experian Business. Definitely want an 80, 85 or above. Similar for Equifax Business. For Dun & Bradstreet, they have what's called a PAYDEX score. I give a little bit of information in my guide, but as we continue to learn more about business credit and I put out more material, I'm going to go into detail about all of these things. Right now, I just want to get you caught up with what business credit is and how easy it is to establish it. And then we can go into finer details about things a little later. I tried to cover as much as I can in one video, but this is a very, very lengthy topic. So it will take a long time to get all of the particulars out. But for the most part, what I want you to focus on right now is understanding that these are credit bureaus that you should know for your business: Equifax Business, Experian Business, Dun & Bradstreet. Okay. All right. So I have 4 simple steps to get $100K in funding. When it comes to the business credit side, business credit, you get like 4 to 5 times more than you would get for your personal. And business, essentially it never reports on your actual personal credit, which is amazing when you think about it, because it really does give you the ability to leverage all of that money that you're making. And then we can leverage that in order to create income for ourselves passively. And that way we don't have to worry about, working jobs all the time. If you still want to work a job, it frees up your time. So step number 1, creating your business. I'm actually in the process of creating a new business. I'm going to document the entire thing so you can actually see step by step how to structure a business. But as I create more videos, I'm also going to go into detail about each step separately. But for right now, we're just going to talk about these 4 steps. And again, step 1 is to create a business. I actually made these circles the size of importance. Creating a business is, of course, very important, because without a business, we can't get any funding, right? Step 2 is the most important: structuring your business. And I'm going to get into that after this. That is the most important thing in order for you to get funded. Step 3 is relationship banking. That is probably the next important step, because that's going to get us the approval amounts that we're looking for to get up to 100,000 and beyond. And step 4 is approval. This is probably the least important step, because if you did steps 1 through 3, there should be no issue with step 4. Step 4 will just come as long as step 1, 2, and 3 are done properly. All right, so this is the most important step and the main one that we're going to focus on, and that's structure your business. Now, I'm going to give this from the perspective that you already have a business or you already know the steps to start one, because I'm not going to show you that process yet. The first thing you need to do is obtain your EIN through irs.gov. And let me put it to you like this, but before I go any further, this is the easiest way to think of it. Think of your business as a person. Your business needs a social, which is the EIN number. Your business needs an address. Your business, it needs a place to live, like that's the virtual address. Your business needs a phone number. We all have phone numbers. You need a separate one for your business. Your business needs its own email. Not a Gmail, a professional email. Your business needs a social media presence. It needs a website. The same way you have Instagram, the same way you have things, your business does need a social media online presence. You also need to register your business with 411 in directories. It looks very legitimate when they can find your business online and that business number. And then your business needs to have a bank account. So when you're looking at this, don't look at it as a bunch of steps. Look at it as if, again, your business is its own person. And everything a person needs, your business needs as being a separate entity other than yourself. Okay? So when you structure your business, we need to obtain your EIN. You can get that for free through irs.gov. If you started a business, you already would have this information. Then you want to obtain a professional business address. There are virtual addresses that you can actually use, and there are multiple companies. I'm going to be doing a video covering all the different virtual address companies that you can choose from, and then you can make a decision there. You also need to make sure that you have a professional business phone number. It needs to be a number other than your personal number. It cannot be your personal number. Keep in mind, when you create a business, you're probably going to go to your Secretary of State website. When you go to your Secretary of State website, they're going to have this information public. So you don't want to have your personal number on a public forum where anybody can see it. And you don't want your personal address on a public forum where anybody can see it, right? That's not good. And also when underwriters go to look up this business, you don't want them to search it and see an apartment or a home. You want them to see that they're able to find your business with that address and your phone number, right? Has to look as professional as possible, which goes into business email. You need to have a business email, not a Gmail. This is super easy. When you create a website, you normally get a free email that can forward. Like, for example, if you've seen mine, I made a website with Shopify. Automatically, they give me a forwarding email. I use info@successwithstevensmith.com. You can also make other websites where you can get a 360 email, a Microsoft one, where it's not just a forwarding one, but you can use it for all intents and purposes, whatever that domain name is. Like, it doesn't just forward to a Gmail. It actually is its own email. Either one of those ways works, but when you make a website, usually you'll get the free email anyway. Then you want to obtain a business domain and create a website. Creating that online presence is probably just as important as everything on paper or everything through the Secretary of State. Everything we do now is online. Everything we do now is digital. So if I'm looking for someone's business to know if it's legitimate or not, or even to do business with them, I'm just going to type in the business name onto Google, and what's going to come up? If your website, phone number, and address come up, that looks like a legitimate business to me. So, we want to register the business with the 411 directories. I know that sounds old, but it's really a simple thing to actually do. And to be honest, most of these things are free. Applying for your DUNS number, which is Dun & Bradstreet, that's going to be free. Obtaining your EIN is free. Your business email address may not be free, but it should come with your website, which will be a very, very low overhead cost compared to how much you're going to get in funding and then how much you can potentially leverage and make. And opening your business bank account, it shouldn't cost you anything, but you deposit money, and then from there, what they're going to give you in return for opening up an account is going to be significant. So you definitely want to go ahead and structure your business following these steps. And again, this is going to be the most important step that you take in structuring your business. And this is just an example that I use. I just took screenshots from my website, but you want a website, a one pager is fine. Usually somewhere in there, you want a business phone number that's visual, or a business email or contact that's visual, and then a business address that's visual. Now, when I'm establishing my new business, that one's going to be a little different from this one. It's going to have a virtual address. It's going to have the phone number, a different website. It's going to be completely different, but this was just here as an example of what it looks like when you're structured online with a website. So business bank account and relationship banking. So you need a business bank account if you expect to get funded. So after we started our new business, after we structured our new business, we need a business bank account. If you expect to get any money from a lender, you won't be able to get any money until you've opened an account. So I would not attempt to apply for anything until you actually have this account, and there are plenty of options to choose from. I recommend going with the bank that you're currently using. I'm sure that they have some small business options, or another recommendation is to use a credit union. I personally use Navy Federal. They've been very good. Credit unions always offer you better interest rates. And they're able to do that because they're not like the commercial for-profit banks. They're using the same people's money that actually fund these accounts to give out the loans. So you want to get the most lenient bank that you could possibly get with the best rates so that you can get as much money as possible. Okay. So that will be up to your discretion, which business bank that you choose. It doesn't necessarily matter, but there will be some banks that do have better options when it comes to business funding, business auto loans, and business credit in general. All right, so here's one thing that I need to make sure that I cover with you guys. It's going to be personal credit versus net 30s and tier 1 accounts. And we're going to talk about this for a little while, but some of you may not know what a personal guarantee or a PG is. A personal guarantee is when a lender requires you to use your social security number to secure funding for your business. And it's called a personal guarantee because you are personally liable if that account, loan, or line of credit is defaulted on. And there's nothing wrong with you using a PG unless you're going to default on your loans. And this is why you need to know exactly what you're going to do with this capital, because lenders will not give you business credit for the most part without you personally guaranteeing it. Unless your business makes over $1 million or has at least 2 years of tax returns. And there are some special like situations that I've seen. There are certain banks that if you have, I guess, $100,000 in your account, and you can prove that through a bank statement, and you can prove how much money you're making through your business, they'll sometimes give you a business credit card with no PG. But of course, if we're trying to get $100,000 in funding, I doubt we have $100,000 sitting in our account right now. And if you do, then you can go get $1 million in funding, which is awesome too. Now, there are some people who are rebuilding credit, and that's the reason why the first videos I released had to do with building your personal credit and fixing your personal credit. This is not a credit repair channel. I do business strategies. I'm not a credit repair specialist. I don't do credit repair. I gave you the videos that I had because in order for you to get business funding and in order for you to make money online and in order for you to make passive income, I know that there's steps that you have to take. There was someone that I was commenting with, and I told him I had the next 10 videos in advance. And I didn't get your name, man. But I do things, well, I have the rest of the year planned, okay? I do things well in advance, which is why I started with the credit videos. If you haven't seen any of my videos, there's plenty of videos that you can go watch on this channel about how to fix your personal credit. Don't let your personal credit deter you from trying to build your business credit. When I started building business credit, I had a 480 credit score, but I repaired my credit and built business credit at the same time. There are some no PG options, no personal guarantee. There are a few options, but they're very few that you can get. And if you don't want to do a personal guarantee, you can do net 30s and tier accounts. So I'm going to talk about the net 30 and tier accounts really quick. And I'm not going to be able to cover everything on net 30 and tier accounts, but I'm going to do an entire video on the net 30s that I recommend. And I'm going to do a video on I'm going to give you a video where I list literally all the net 30s. I'm going to show you where to sign up at. And basically, if you have a business and you sign up for all of these net 30s in 30 days, you'll have a business credit score. So that's going to be the next video after this one. But just so you guys know, a net 30 is kind of how it sounds. It's a 30-day term where a company will usually provide you a product or a service, and they will invoice you. So when you're trying to build business credit, you're going to find that, remember I said your business is a person? Your business has its own credit report where it needs accounts. These are usually net 30 accounts that people start with to build business credit and to get a business credit score, an Experian credit score, an Equifax business credit score, and a Dun and Bradstreet Paydex score. You need to get net 30s. And again, I'm going to have a video where I give you all the net 30s so you don't have to worry about it. You do these net 30s, you'll have a business credit score within around 30 days. Some of them take a little while to report, but for the most part, I know Experian and your Paydex will probably be in 30 days. Equifax is a little bit longer. So if you have net 30s and you get, like, let's say 5 or 6, you'll generate a score. People start with net 30s and then they move on to what's called tier accounts. Usually they're revolving accounts. They're gas cards for your business. They're store cards like Home Depot or Dell or Floor & Decor or Best Buy. Some of these require you to have a business open for 2 years before they're willing to give you some of these products and services. But I know a few where I did it within the first 3 months. So again, I'm going to give you all of those. Now, when you have a net 30, there's certain things that you can apply for. The main one being the Sam's Club Business MasterCard. I believe it goes up to $25,000 or $30,000. That is the one true no PG credit card that you can apply for. And then after that, there are some store cards that to me are just as good as cash or lines of credit that you can also stack. And you can do this simultaneously while building your credit. But even if you have a low credit score, as long as you at least got rid of the derogatory marks and the charge-offs, if you do relationship banking, you can then do the combination of net 30 tiered accounts with a low credit score with no delinquencies or collections or charge-offs. And then if you build a relationship with the bank, you will get approved. You will get approvals for business lines of credit. So again, a low credit score does not have to deter you from getting these accounts. You can get them. You just have to make sure you do the net 30s first. So again, if we go back, our 4 steps, once the business is structured, if you have good credit, you can pretty much go into relationship banking and go right into approval if you don't want to do net 30s. Now, I will say this. There are different types of business credits. And let me actually pull this up from the ebook. There are different types of business credit. There are business credit cards, which we know are similar to personal credit cards. There are business loans, which gives you access to cash instead of credit. And then there are business lines of credit. If you have a good credit score, I'm going to be frank with you. You can establish a business, you can open up a bank account, and you can go right into getting approved. You don't have to wait for no one. You can go right into getting approved. If you want to get business loans or business lines of credit, these other options, you need to establish a business credit score as well, even with good credit. At least get like 5 net 30s, maybe 2 revolving, let it report for at least a month, generate a score, and then you're good to go. But I do recommend that you at least do that. At the very least, if you're going to go for business loans or business lines of credit. Business credit cards, personal guarantees are damn near the same as personal credit cards when you do that, except for you're going to get 4 to 5 times the amount of funding if you have good credit. So before we close this, let's just do a recap. The first thing you have to do is establish your business. The second thing you have to do is structure it. We know how to structure it. If you want a reference guide, download the ebook. It's all on there. Once we structure it, we choose a bank to build a relationship with, a credit union preferably if you can. After that, we apply. You can do this within 90 days. And remember, if you have bad credit, you're going to want to get the net 30s at the time of opening your business. My next video, I'm going to give you all the net 30s that you can apply for, and you can literally apply for them all in the same day. Give it 30 days. My people who are rebuilding credit, you will have a business credit score, and then you can keep establishing a relationship with your bank. I would do that for 90 days, and then I would go ahead and start applying for business credit cards or accounts. My people with good credit, follow steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you have good credit and you're only applying for credit cards, then I recommend that at the very least, you at least get a NAV account, which is going to be it's like the Credit Karma of business. And when you open up a NAV account, NAV Prime, it opens up 2 trade lines for you that report to all the business credit bureaus. I would at the very least get a NAV account, my people with good credit, then pick your credit union and then go open up these accounts. And then it doesn't have to be just a credit union, but you can also do American Express and of course Chase. And there are a bunch of places that you can get business credit cards from. I'm going to go over a few. For the first one that you get, I would look at doing the credit union and then work your way up. Or depending on exactly what the stacking strategy is, sometimes maybe you want to do like Chase first because they have a rule about how often you can open accounts. Now that we did the recap, what comes next? Whatever you want to do. If you're watching this video right now, I probably already released a video on Amazon FBA talking about how I made $104,000 at the end of 2023 in one fiscal year. I made $100,000 over that, and what that broke down as. If you watch that video and you still want to do Amazon FBA, well, think about this. If you had $100,000 in business credit and you had inventory that you wanted to purchase, you can get your business credit cards, get that inventory, start making that passive income. If you want to start a Turo business right now, this was kind of a really good option during like COVID, early 2020. At this time, I don't know if I would recommend that with the high interest rates, but if you can find maybe you found a private seller where it makes sense, or maybe you're in an automotive industry and you know some things where you like, I can get these cars, all I need is the capital. This is the capital. Buy those cars, rent those cars out, start making money. You can get 0% APR business credit cards. They have some for 12 months where all you have to pay is the minimum balance. Get your cars, recoup the cost, and then pay them off. And you're good. Maybe you want to do real estate and you need a down payment. Maybe your credit is good. Maybe you just didn't have the money to actually spare to do down payments for real estate. Well, now you do, and you can manage that with your business credit cards. TikTok shop. There's a lot of money to be made on TikTok Shop. I know someone who's making over $2,000 right now on TikTok Shop, just promoting things, just being an influencer. And if you want to do that, then you can do that, or you can also go to TikTok Shop and you can sell stuff. I mean, it's a booming market. E-commerce store, you can sell things online and you can use your credit card to run ads so you can get sales. You can start a YouTube channel, buy a camera, buy what you need, invest into yourself, make a website. You can put it all on your business credit card and write it off as business expenses. So I just wanted to give you a couple ideas of what you can do when you get funded. And even for my people who are rebuilding credit, if you only get approved for the Sam's Club, let's say the store card and not the MasterCard, that's cool. You can use that card on Walmart. What do you think you could buy from? Everything's on Walmart. If you want to buy inventory for Amazon, that's probably on Walmart. If you wanted to buy a camera, that's going to be on walmart.com. Like you got to start thinking outside the box. Like even if you don't get approved for the credit card per se, there are store card options if you pick the right stores. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of how easily you can start a business, or any business. If you want to start a bakery, if you have the money, the capital, you can pretty much do anything that you want to do. Just make sure you have a plan, you thought it out, you mitigate risk, and you prepare for it. Don't just take this money and do something crazy with it. Remember, idle money is a bad thing. Your money should always be in circulation. It should always be making more money. You've been tricked into saving money and thinking that that's an effective way to build wealth. It is not effective. What's effective is going ahead and investing money to make passive income. Your money, every dollar you have should be an employee of yours making $2 more for you. And that's the way that you create wealth. You don't create wealth by hoarding money. You don't create wealth by frivolously spending money on consumer goods that don't help you. Not that you can't buy consumer goods. My thing is, as long as I have an asset to cover what I want, I could get that thing. That's how I see it. So as long as I have an asset to cover my car, I'm getting that new car. I'm getting whatever I want. That's how I choose to operate. So drop down in the comments exactly what you plan to do with your new business. Please keep an eye out for my Net 30 video. That's probably going to come in the next few days. And like my next probably like 12 videos are going to pertain to either business credit or making money online. If there's something specific you want me to talk about or go over or look into, please comment, email me. I'm very responsive, and I do take into account everything that you guys suggest or offer, especially if it's something that other people want to know. I do a lot of analytic research, so I want to know exactly what people are looking for. So I hope that this helped you. I want to see you guys stack $100,000 in business credit funding, and I want to see you guys succeed, and I want to see you thrive, and I would be honored to be a part of that. So download the new ebook. It's just a quick introduction to business credit and some things that are maybe you want to think about. And I'll see you in the next video where we talk about Net 30s and what you're going to be able to do to structure that business. You guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much. Easiest vendors to get approved for, and if you follow the exact steps, you can establish a solid foundation that will qualify you for huge loans, high limits, major credit cards, and as little as Net 30 accounts are still the best way to build business credit fast in 2024. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build your business credit using the same Net 30s that I've personally used to start all my businesses. We're going to go from tier 1 Net 30s and we're going to move into revolving lines of business credit. These will be the easiest vendors to get approved for, and if you follow the exact steps, you can establish a solid foundation that will qualify you for huge loans, high limits, major credit cards, in as little as 90 days. So join me on the computer, and I'm going to show you how we're going to build business credit with Net 30s in 2024 as fast as possible. All right, let's get right into it. I want to go over a couple of things. There are going to be 2 rounds of building business credit. Round 1 is all about building a solid foundation and providing business credit reporting agencies payment history. That's going to be the main thing. Once you have at least 3 to 5 vendor accounts, which I'll provide to you in this video, reporting to Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax Business, you'll be able to start round 2. In round 2, you will gain access to major credit cards with $50,000 plus credit limits, unsecured funding of potentially over $100,000. And again, we just have to make sure that we do this all correctly. First thing I'm going to go over with you is business credit scores really briefly. So this is the Experian business credit score model. As you can see, it ranges from 0 to 100. The place that we want to be is 81 or above. 81 or above is low risk. 81 to 90 is low risk. 91 to 100 is minimum risk. Anything below that, 80 or below, is either below average risk or maximum average risk. Now, getting funding and approval is difficult for suppliers who have a score under 30. Okay, it's not favorable. Scores under 50, in that range, you can still be subject to higher funding rates from lenders. You may also be subject to higher insurance rates. And of course, our 81 to 100 range is the minimal risk. You'll receive the best interest rates, and then more than likely you'll get the highest approvals, and that's what we're shooting for. And I want to go over not just Experian, but I want to look at your Paydex score. Now, this is the score for Dun & Bradstreet. Notice it's very similar to Experian, right? High risk is 0 to 49. These are usually people who have late payments. Medium risk is 50 to 79. So that's 50 to 79, which can be maybe a late payment, but also it can vary by what type of business that you have. Now, the lower risk will be 80, of course, to 100. That's the range that we're going in. And when you're building business credit, if you establish it with 3 to 5 vendors off the bat and they report on-time payments, you usually automatically start at 80. Now, there are some things which will influence your credit score. Your company's credit score, it provides a Snapchat of the business financial health. All right. And it's influenced by these numbers and also factors. Keep in mind your industry that you're in could also impact your score, which is going to be seen by your SIC code. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about that, but if you want to look it up, look at high risk business or high risk business industries. Some of them just have a harder time getting loans. But as long as you don't have like an active county court judgment, or, you're filing the accounts late or paying late, or you're having high levels of debt, that'll also affect it too. Those things will impact your Experian score, your Paydex score, and also your Equifax business score. And let's go over and look at the Equifax business credit range. Notice this one is quite a bit different. So Equifax generates 2 business credit scores. One's the business credit risk score, and the other is the business failure score. Now, the business credit risk score evaluates the likelihood of a business having 90 days of severe delinquency or a charge off over the next 12 months. And the business failure score, it predicts the likelihood of a business failing through either formal or informal bankruptcy over the next 12 months. And both scores, they'll reflect any bankruptcies, any liens, any judgments. They'll reflect on-time payment history. They'll reflect a lot of positivity too, as long as that's what you're showing. This will also show your 12-month payment trend, and they'll compare it to the industry average. So they will be comparing your business to your contemporaries in the same industry. And then one last score I wanted to go over before I show you the net 30s, and that is your FICO SBSS credit score range. Now, your FICO SBSS credit score range, which is FICO Small Business Scoring Service, it doesn't generate one particular score. Lenders typically use this score when qualifying applicants for small business loans. And the score can actually vary depending on the bank. So there's not just one particular score. But the score will range from 0 to 300, but you'll need a minimum of 155, right, to typically get an approval. What they want to see, though, is usually 160 to 165. And most lenders set their minimum score requirements to 160 or 165. Now, unlike the other business credit scores, the FICO SBSS credit score, it uses both your personal and your business information to compile a score. And FICO, because it's actually FICO, the company actually created this business model, and they'll actually provide both of those pieces of information to compile this score. And it's not really something that we're going to focus on at this moment, but it's just something that I wanted you to be aware of. And business owners who have a 20% stake or more, which can be up to 5 people in total, FICO will also factor into that business financial information, like your total revenue, number of employees, years in business, and other debts and even more. But excuse me, not to worry, that's not something that we're going to be looking into. It's just I wanted you to understand what the general idea of is, we're looking for with these scores. And what you really need to have is at least an 80 Paydex score, at least an 80 experience score, and a 550 Equifax business score before you start applying for business credit. And what I'm going to be providing you, and it might change because I added a few. So if I need to add to the description, this might change, but it should be 5 revolving business lines of credit, 3 net 30s, and it should be 9 accounts that report to Experian Business, 4 accounts that report to Equifax Business, and 5 accounts that report to Dun & Bradstreet. Again, if you do this the correct way and you follow this step by step, you will have a business credit score in usually as little as 30 days. It can take up to 90 to get all of your scores, but in as little as 30 days, you will have a business credit score. And there are some things you can apply for. For example, for my businesses, when I get to 30 days and I establish an Experian credit score and a Paydex score, I usually will go to Sam's Club and I'll apply for the Sam's Club store card or the Sam's Club MasterCard. That is a no PG either store card or it's a no PG credit card that you can get with Sam's Club just for your business, just strictly EIN only, no personal guarantee. You can also establish an account with your phone carrier, like, for example, Verizon. Within 30 days, when you have this score, you can go to Verizon, apply for a business account. You'll have a structured business, and you can usually qualify for, 0 down, just pay the taxes and, get all your devices that you need for your business. So just in 30 days, there are some things that you can qualify for. And if you want more information on those things, I can make a video on those if you want me to show you how to qualify for. But with all that being said, let's get into the first net 30 that I'm going to recommend that you have to have. The first net 30 account that we're going to be talking about is NAV. NAV is a business credit monitoring service that allows you to see your Experian business score, your Equifax business score, your Paydex score, and your FICO SBSS score. Now, this is the Credit Karma of business, right? You're going to want this one because this one does some amazing things. I think this is the most important business credit builder that you can possibly have. Because it starts as a net 30, but not only is it a net 30, you also get to get a revolving credit card account with it, which is very, very good. Lenders like to see that you have not only just net 30s, but you have some revolving credit, and you get that with the NAV Prime. So you're going to get the detailed credit reporting. You're going to get a trade line that reports for you getting the reporting. So it's like you get Credit Karma almost for your business, and then it reports as a positive payment history to your credit, to your business credit. And on top of that, you also get the NAV Prime card, which automatically repays your account, it's like a think of it like a net 24 hour. Like it pays in a day. It's like a net one, right? So every time you use your card, it takes those payments and then it reports this back. So now not only do you get the monitoring service for all of your scores, you also get a revolving account all with this one thing. So again, Nav Prime, it gives you two right off the bat that report to all the bureaus. That's going to be another thing that's going to be, if you try to look for this yourself, it would be, it gets hard to find business accounts or business net 30s that report to all of the bureaus. But this one, off the bat, you have two that report to all three. I mean, that is amazing. Not to mention, this is one of the fastest credit builders as far as reporting goes. They report very, very quickly. And again, if you do it properly, you can start generating scores within 30 days. So at the time of this recording, Nav Prime costs $49.99 per month, and you have the ability to add on FICO SBSS score at checkout, which would bring your Nav price to $59.99 per month. And again, I highly, highly, highly recommend Nav. If you don't take any account 30, any net 30 account, off of this list, definitely choose Nav. All right. So let's get into the next account. Our second net 30 on the list will be BCC Office Supplies. This is a woman-owned business, and it's a B2B office supply company that reports to Experian Business. And their net 30 program is, of course, no PG, so you're not personally liable for the account. It's no hard inquiry, and it's very easy to get approved for a brand new business. The application process is really, really easy. Right here, as you can see, apply for net 30. You would just click on that and you would fill out the information here: your business name, your business address, your state, your business number, your SIC code, your NAICS code, your DUNS number, the date that you were incorporated, and how your structure is filed. And you can choose that here, and a password. It's very, very straightforward, guys. And this is $25 a month. And for $25 per month, you'll get access to purchase their wholesale products. But the most important part is that they'll report all the purchases you make by invoice to Experian Business. And remember, Experian is probably the most important business credit reporting agency because it is tied to your FICO SBSS score. So it does help there. All right. So the next account on our list is going to be Uline. Uline is a family-owned business, and it's the leading distributor of shipping, industrial packaging materials to businesses throughout North America. This is an old one, but a good one. It's been around for a very long time. You can use it to buy things like, or not to buy, but to invoice, then pay for within 30 days. Boxes, material handling tools, warehouse equipment. I think from here, when I wanted to start Amazon FBA, I needed a label maker. I invoiced the label maker on Uline. So there are things that you can find that you actually need that you can invoice and you can pay for that will also help you establish business credit. I mean, you can get, coffee mug, drill if you need it. So these are things you can invoice and pay back within 30 days. And the process is pretty easy. So how can I establish credit with Uline? So for new customers, you use your customer number from the back of the catalog when prompted. So select Invoice Me during the checkout process, and qualified business customers will receive a net billing account, which allows payment within 30 days of receiving the invoice. Very simple, very straightforward. And again, this is one of my favorite net 30s. I've been using them for a very, very long time. Uline, they report to Dun & Bradstreet on the first of every month and automatically along with Experian. So you already have Experian and Dun & Bradstreet with Uline. Definitely, guys, check this one out. This is an oldie, but still a goodie. All right, let's get on to the next net 30 account. All right, so our fourth net 30, and it may be one of your most used net 30s, is QUILL. Quill is a office supplies retailer, and they're also a subsidiary of Staples. They report to Dun & Bradstreet all invoices greater than, I believe, $100 on a monthly basis. So Dun & Bradstreet, they receive your file, but according to Quill, it can take up to 90 days for it to reflect on your Dun's report. Quill will report all those payments to Dun & Bradstreet on Monday each week, unless a holiday falls on that day. If that happens, the reporting would be on the following business day. But this is definitely going to be one of the ones you probably will end up using most often. Bounty, they have Kleenex, they have Ajax. I mean, if you think of like a regular store, like a Walmart or something like that, they're going to have what you need, and you can invoice this and pay it back within 30 days. So definitely one of the easier ones, I think, to actually find use in. Now, for requesting net 30, you can go to the sites at the bottom. You just click on the request. You select apply net 30 terms, as long as the payment method at checkout is $100 cart minimum. Then they'll ask you to fill out the form. Upon the submission, you'll receive an instant decision if you're approved or not. Very easy. Once you're approved, your order will be confirmed and shipped. All right. Now, if not approved, businesses can establish a payment history by completing their orders with a credit card for 90 consecutive days to be reviewed for terms. Personally, I've been automatically approved for Quill. I haven't had any problems where I was not approved, but if you weren't, for whatever reason, you can just use a credit card for that first order. And then I don't think I wait 90 days. I would just try again within like 30 days to reapply. Or if you're having issues, you can also call and see if they can take a look at your application again. But Quill is another good one. Very easy to use, and an old one that has been around for a very, very long time. All right, let's get into the next net 30 account that we're going to be using. Our next net 30 is Shirtsy. If you want to create your own customized apparel, shoes, office supplies, mugs, any other merchandise while you're building your business credit, then Shirtsy, they should be on your radar. Shirtsy net 30 gives you, like the rest of them, a 30-day credit term to pay your invoice. And they're going to report to Experian. All right. And they actually report to all three major business credit bureaus. So you're going to get it with Dun & Bradstreet, you're going to get it with Experian, and you're going to get it with Equifax Business. They do have a $99 annual payment fee that you do have to pay up front, and that may turn some people off. But there's also some benefit to Shirtsy. Like, the reporting is very, very fast. I mean, that initial fee that you pay for $99 gets reported. So as soon as you pay the $99 fee and then you set up the net 30 with Shirtsy, they report that payment. So I mean, off the bat, you're going to get it right away. And then if you were into looking at anything that you can create, again, any customizable clothes, keychains, mugs, shirts, this is definitely going to be it for you. And for Shirtsy, net 30 application, again, at the bottom, you fill it out. It's pretty straightforward. And then you submit the information. They approve like usually right away. They also have drop shipping applications if that was something that you were interested in, maybe as a viable business. So really, really good one. I've been using them for a long time. Don't really mind paying that $99 annual fee, especially if you only want to use them just to get that fee and maybe grab like one or two more things in the next like 90 days. Cool. Then Shirtsy is definitely for you. And let's move on to our next net 30 account. Now, our next net 30 is going to be eCredible. Some of you may be aware of eCredible for personal and building your credit. There's also a eCredible business lift. Okay. So with eCredible, another great thing about this one, it reports to all the business bureaus. That's going to be Dun & Bradstreet. That's going to be Equifax. That's going to be Experian. It also reports bills that you have with your business and turns them into trade lines like power, cell phone, internet, water. If you pay rent for a virtual office, I actually included that as one. That's going to be reported as well. and that's $19.95 a month. You can also get the Business Lift Plus if you're interested in that. Now, one thing I want to note, when eCredible Business Lift accounts are added, like let's say, for example, you get a business phone line with Verizon and then it's added to eCredible. That business trade line that's added onto eCredible only reports to Dun and Bradstreet and Credit Safe. And I believe that it's actually somewhere right here. Oh, here we go. So eCredible reports to Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Credit Safe, and Experian. Dun & Bradstreet and Experian accept only the eCredible business subscription payment at this time. So just bear in mind, you only get one, just the subscription that reports to Experian, Equifax, and Dun & Bradstreet. Equifax accepts only accounts verified to be in the business name. Personal accounts will not be reported to Equifax and Credit Safe. So, and I'm glad that I just reread this because it used to be different. So let me rephrase what I just said. When you do eCredible Business Lift, it'll report to Dun & Bradstreet. It'll report to Experian. It'll report to Equifax Business. If you have a bill, utility, or your virtual address that you want to report, it'll report to Equifax and it'll report to Credit Safe, which is another business credit bureau. Not one that's talked about as much, but it is another one. So just bear that in mind. Other than that, I think that it's a great tool. I think that it's awesome. I would go through and read this just because these on-demand verification accounts, they're very, very strict about that. If they try to call and verify this account, but they can't, they're not going to add it on as a trade line to your business credit report. So just be aware that if you don't see that on your Experian, you may have to contact them and make sure they can verify this information for those additional accounts. They call them on-demand accounts. Now, eCredible is going to be our last net 30. The next accounts that we're looking at are going to be business revolving lines of credit. Business revolving line of credit will be Bill, also known as Bill Divvy. For me, this is actually an oldie. Originally, Divvy was its separate company, and they also offered a similar product. They stopped offering this product for a while, but the Bill and Divvy Corporation came back, and they have this new corporate card, very similar to the NAV card. It's basically a net 7. All right. Every week it auto pays from your bank account all the transactions that you made. You get a physical card. You also get a virtual card. And on your business credit report, this will be listed as a revolving account, which looks like a credit card. So it'll look like you have a business credit card reporting, which is good. You want to have a few revolving accounts, not just net 30s. And this account will report to Experian at no additional cost. So, you might want to split a couple days in the week from using your NAV card with a couple days in the week of using your Bill Divvy card. And now you have 2 revolving lines of credit that look like credit cards on your business report, which, trust me, that looks excellent. So this is another one that I recommend. Again, it's an oldie that came back and revamped, and it's very easy and straight to the point to use. And let's get on to our next revolving business line of credit. And our next business line of credit will actually be one that I'm very familiar with. It is the Sam's Club Business MasterCard. Now, for the people who wanted a no PG, no personal guarantee, large line of credit, I believe this is the best thing that you're going to get. This is a no PG, which means even if you have bad credit, it does not matter because this does not use your personal credit. It only will use your business credit. I believe the credit limit goes up to $30,000. When I had the store card, it went up to $15,000, and the credit card I had was up to $20,000. So you can actually have both. You can have the Sam's Club store card, which when you first start, if you establish your business credit in 30 days and you go to apply for the store card, and let's say you get it for like $8,000, that's actually pretty good because this card can be used anywhere for Sam's Club and all Walmart purchases. So there'll be plenty of things that you can use for Walmart and Sam's Club to purchase with this store card. That's really awesome. And then if you don't qualify for that, use the store card for a few months and you can qualify for the Business MasterCard, which is a regular credit card that you can use. Now, when I had bad credit, this was the one that I was going for all the time. And you need to have your business structured, like my last video where I stated about being structured is very important if you want to get approved for this card. And it definitely came in handy when I needed a credit card while I was rebuilding. And this account reports to Dun & Bradstreet and Experian Business. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the Sam's Club credit card page, you can actually go here and you can click Apply Now. And then that's how you'll be able to be eligible for the Sam's Club Business MasterCard. You do need to have a membership with them in order to apply for this card. All right. Let's move on to our next revolving business line of credit. Now, this is one that very few people talk about, but for me personally, this was like my fourth or fifth net revolving card that I got. And I got it within I think my first 30 to 60 days, but it's Floor & Decor. Cool thing about Floor & Decor, this one reported as a $20,000 line of credit to my business credit. All I did was when I applied, I did state that my business was I changed the business type to be around furniture or home improvements, something of that nature. And then I just asked them for, I think, 20,000, the highest that it could possibly go to, and I was approved. There is a 6-month financing where no interest is paid, and all you have to do is go to Floor & Decor and you can apply now. I did have I didn't really use it for much, but when you go there, the Pro Premier card, you go and you apply with all your business information, taxpayer ID, Dun & Bradstreet, number of employees, years established, and request the credit line. And I think it just took me maybe 2 or 3 days. And I mean, I was approved right away for $20,000. I mean, it looked really, 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 really good. And if you do anything with home improvement, if you do anything where you might need materials, anything like that, this will definitely come in handy. 6 months of no interest definitely will come in handy. So again, it's one that I'd never really hear anybody talk about, but this account reports to Experian Business, and it usually reports within the first 30 days. And from what I've seen, it reports even if you don't have a balance yet. You don't even have to use it. It just reports as a $20,000 revolving credit line. So this is one of my favorite ones. Very, very easy to get, just as long as if you've done everything else prior, gotten a business credit score, I say go ahead and apply for this one. You'll probably get approved. And let's move on to our next revolving business line of credit. And this is going to be our last account, which I think is phenomenal, but it's also another business credit card, but it's also a fuel card. So it's the A to B fuel gas card. You can save an average of 42 cents per gallon with this card. Application is quick. You should be instantly approved. I had no problem getting this one. With this one, you want to do, sorry, let me scroll down. You want to get the A to B unlimited prepaid fuel card product. Make sure it's this one. You get approved regardless of your credit score. It helps build your business credit. You can spend without limits and purchase fuel anywhere that accepts Visa. And the average discount is 42 cents per gallon on truck diesel gas. And it also, I mean, it's used for regular gas too, but that's the 42 cents that you save when you actually have that. It is a $3 fee per active card that you have if you want to give someone else a card. It's a $35 account setup fee. All right. But this account does report to Experian Business, and it's really, really easy to use. And I'm going to see if I can log into the account that I had with them, so I can kind of show you how that works. All right, so this is the account that I had with A to B. And as you can see, it looks like it started February of 2023. It shows you the term. zero balance. Like I wasn't really using it at this time because this is a business that I no longer use. It's dissolved, but I still had the account. So as you can see here, they were reporting to Experian all the way up until January. They're still reporting to Experian now. All right. So it says it takes Experian up to 4 weeks to process and display the trade line in your report. Only reports uploaded for 2023 shown here. For reporting before 2023, then you can reach out to their support. So let's see account limits, fuel card spending limit. So the way that it worked, I would transfer money from my bank account over to this account, and then I would be able to make transactions. $3 a month per card. I had 2 active cards, so I guess it was $6 a month. Okay. So again, guys, pretty straightforward. And this is actually the last account that I had for you for the business lines of credit. So let me know what accounts you applied for, which ones that you were approved for. And in 30 days, if you apply for all of these accounts and you implement this the exact same way that I've instructed, and you also watched my video about how to structure a business properly, this will get you within 90 days. You can apply for just about anything. All right. Again, if you want to get that no PG Sam's Club Business MasterCard, that's the best card I think that you could possibly get. That's a no PG. A lot of the other cards that you may qualify for will also be some corporate store lines of credit, which are still good because you can find ways to use those or make money off of those. One thing that a lot of people who talk about business credit won't mention is that no matter how good your business credit score is, there's still a point where a personal guarantee is just unavoidable, which is why I did so many videos on on repairing credit, because you have to understand there is a limit that you could do with just business credit alone. There is a limit. You do need good credit at some point, good personal credit. A lot of business lines of credit do need to be personally guaranteed. So just bear that in mind. But in the meantime, while you're working on your credit, if that's a thing for you, while you're working on that, you can establish business credit, and you can do both at the same time. So when your credit is good and your business credit is good, you could do nothing that you can't get. So if this information was helpful to you, please do me a favor, like, share, subscribe. Please watch my other videos. I appreciate you guys. You guys have been phenomenal. All this channel has done is grown, and it's been just nothing but positivity. Thank you so much for your support, and you guys have a wonderful day. Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith, and today we're going to be talking about how to start a successful business. So for this video, I'm going to be using myself and my current business as an example on how you should start a business, how I acquired the skills to start a business, and the guidelines to actually choosing what business you may do, your product, your service that you may offer. And it's going to be very, very informative. Now, what this video will not be is how to start a business in the technical sense, like getting an EIN number. If you want to see that type of information, I have another video that will show you how to do that, and of course how to structure your business. But this is going to be for people who want to know what type of business they should start, and then how to effectively grow that business to be successful and start making money from that business. I think there's a lot of videos that, of course, show us how to set it up, how to get the EIN, the license, business credit, but no one really ever talks about what it actually takes to run a successful business, or how we even come up with the idea of what we should do for a business. So I just wanted to make sure that I definitely touched on that. So you guys are going to get a lot of value out of this. I can assure you of that. So here's the agenda. We're going to be talking about picking a talent or skill, and I'll get more into that with an example, of course. We're going to go over learn from work. It's an important factor that I think every person should actually should actually do, because we all gain experience from a lot of different places. And then I'll go into that. Solving a problem, start a business plan, results, and improvements. So these are going to be the 6 steps. You can call them 6 phases, but it's going to be 6 parts that I believe have helped me create an effective business, where in the next, I would say 6 months, we're almost in June now, this business should make me 6 figures, and I'll probably be making a video on that, how much I made, how I scaled it, I can then go into detail once I actually have all of the information for a full year. All right. So let's get right into it. And number 1, we're going to be talking about picking a talent or skill. Now, I'm sure that you're thinking, what does that have to do with starting a business? But I'm going to definitely get into that. And I'm going to give you an example, of course, using myself. And I want you to use yourself as an example as well. While I'm going over this information, you should be asking yourself a few questions. So one question that you might ask is, what are you good at? Some people will watch this and they'll say, I'm not good at anything. I'm going to get to that. But whatever it is that you are good at, if you have something that you're good at, is there a way to turn that talent into a viable business? And if you are able to do something like that, you're already halfway there. Like, that's really half the battle. Most people, they don't know what they actually want to do for a career, for a business, for work. You have to figure out exactly what it is that you think that you are good at. But if you're not good at anything, that's okay. Stay with me. If you don't have a talent or a particular skill that you're aware of, then let's discuss how you can narrow that down, because I can almost guarantee everyone has something that they can offer, and there's always a way that you can turn that into a business or some type of service that you can provide to other people. So I want to, again, use my story. Everyone has a passion. Everyone has a talent. Everyone has a skill. One of these things you will have. Something you're passionate at does not have to mean that you're good at it. Your talent, that's going to be something that you have an innate ability to do. And skill is something that you've gotten good at over time with practice or with training. So for me, my passion was always music. So I spent a majority of my early 20s trying to pursue that. But my passion wasn't exactly something that I could turn into a viable business. Even though I did make money from it, it was not enough money to keep up with the cost of living. There were a lot of different ways that, like, for example, when it comes to a music stream, I can't even tell you what the amount I'm getting paid is. If you were in a business where you can't even say how much you're getting paid for work, it doesn't make sense. Which then I had to, kind of come to terms with myself. If I'm passionate about this thing, I would do this thing for free. It's my passion. So I didn't necessarily have to turn my passion into a business, right? And that's something for everyone else to decide. If you're passionate about something and you can turn it into a viable business, I suggest that you do it, because this whole process will become much easier for you and you're going to have a lot of fun. Now, passion aside, let's talk about talents and skills. My talent, and everyone has a talent, my talent is my retention. I have the ability to retain a lot of information in a very short period of time. I always have. And right now, hopefully you're asking yourself, what's your talent? Now, if you just don't know what that may be, or you truly believe that you don't have a talent, the last thing that we can rely on is a skill. Now, if you don't know what your skill is, you would need to start to develop a skill. And I can tell you, there's plenty of skills that you can learn online. You can learn how to build a website. I wasn't great at editing videos. I'm getting better. If you guys look at my first video and look at this current video to date, you can see all the improvements that I made. I didn't just become this good at doing something, if this is even good. I had to do that over a certain period of time. So if you do the same thing every single day, you learn anything. It doesn't really matter what it is. You learn any industry. If it's culinary, if it's media, if it's video games, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to, develop a skill for something over time if you do it every day. Everybody has that same situation. So even if you don't think that you have one, you do. Here's my example. For 13 years, I worked in commission-based jobs. I did sales jobs forever. From my sales jobs, I learned communication. I learned closing. I learned about, asking the right questions, all open-ended questions, assumptive sales, getting to know people, just learning how to handle all types of individuals. I use my talent for my retention, and I use my skill for sales. And that's kind of how I came up with this YouTube channel. A lot of the information that I was looking up every day was about finance, just because naturally it was something that I was enthused about and I was into. And I didn't want to teach anybody or talk about it. It was something I just did. But as much as I tried to avoid it, I realized I knew a lot of information. Well, this information must be valuable to somebody, right? So if I took my information, because I could retain this so quickly, and then also put it into action to show people, and I took my communication skills, I feel like they're effective enough, I can take this and turn it into a business. So even if you don't think that you have that right now, hopefully just this portion of the video kind of puts the pieces in front of you where you're like, okay, well, I'm good at this, or I'm talented in this, I'm skilled in this. How can I take these two things and bring them together? So hold that. All right. Just keep that, and we're going to come back to it. Just keep that in mind. Let's talk about number 2. Learn from work. Now, all of the things that I've learned, I've acquired from work. I worked a lot of jobs. I would say probably in the last 13 years, I probably worked for 4 or 5 Fortune 500 companies. These companies spend an exuberant amount of money to train the people who work there. And sometimes if you work in insurance, or maybe you work in brokerage firms, things of that nature, you can actually get certifications paid through your employer. So you can learn a lot from working on a job. Even the most entry level jobs you can learn. If you observe what they do, you're going to see that a lot of businesses do the exact same thing. So when you work for a few Fortune 500 companies, or you work for even a few different companies, you're going to learn like, oh, this is business education in real time, right? It's real time education that you're getting on the job. Now, from my sales jobs, I learned, and my jobs in finance, because I did work for a few banks, and they always were usually a commission-based environment with some hourly as well. But on the job, I learned delegation, I learned management, I learned leadership, I learned teamwork. These are some of the most effective skills that I learned from working a job. Now, the thing is, if you start a business, there's not going to be a boss or a manager to tap you on the shoulder and tell you to get back to work, or tell you when to take a break, or anything like that. You are self-governed. You're going to have to learn how to manage your time to effectively run your business. Even for me, I'm on a schedule. I wake up at a certain time. I do things at a certain time. I have goals. I have metrics. I learned this from sales jobs. You get to work every day. They go over all of your goals. You look at your monthly goal. You look at what you've done, your revenue. You follow up on leads. You do all of those skills that I learned from years and years and years of working in the same environment. I apply today to what I'm doing. I apply it to YouTube. There are metrics and analytics that I use. I have goals. I know how many subscribers, how many views I'm looking at. I know my impressions. I know my watch. I know all of it. And I use that information to create other content. And when some things work, they work well. When they don't work, I go back, I tweak it. The point is, you want to learn from work. I would not take work for granted. Go to work, be effective at your job, and take that education back and apply it to your business. A lot of us end up starting businesses from the industries that we've worked in. So that's another tip. Look at the industry that you're in. What have you learned? How can you take that information and now apply it? Okay. And here's one of the other things that's very, very important. How you do small things is how you handle big things. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is make up my bed. I go to the gym. I shower. I clean. I eat. All at a certain time. I get to my desk. If I'm not recording something, I'm sending out an email. I'm responding. I have a schedule that when I get up, it's the same as any job. I clock in at 8 o'clock. I don't clock out until 5. I don't even touch my bed. That's why I make it. I don't touch it. How you do small things is how you'll do the big things. So the most important thing about this is, if you are at work, and trust me, it's been days where I've wanted to cry because I just didn't want to go to work. It was that bad. When you go to work, do your best job. Even if you don't want to be there. I know. But do your best job. There were times where, I would do things just half baked, not really done well. And then I would think I'm going to come home and I'm going to work effectively on whatever I care about. I was trying to conserve energy to be more effective at my side hustle or my business, and then try to give half the effort at work. But it's a mentality. If you give half effort at work, you're going to give half effort with everything else in your life. So just learn from your job, get the on-job business education, take back what they've shown you, because they put so much money into doing it. They may not be explicitly telling you, but just be observant and also do the best that you can at that place that you don't want to be. Because then when you have to start to do things on your own and you're self-governed, having your own business or being self-employed, you will have no problem being effective in managing your schedule and keeping yourself accountable and making sure that you're staying on task when you need to be on task. So again, it's the little things. Now, with that said, we're going to get into number 3, solving a problem. Now, here's the thing. We just talked about 1, we're going to find either a skill or a talent, something that we know that we can do very, very well. We're going to take whatever it is that we know that we can use. We know that we're going to learn good business practices and good business habits just from doing our everyday jobs and being observant. Because I'm sure you could think back to anything that you've done before and you can use it to apply that to something that you can do in your business, especially when it comes to time management. Now, every single business does this. Every business has to solve a problem. You got to solve a problem for somebody. So check this out. The most successful companies in every field, they've reached a pinnacle in their respective industry by presenting solutions to everyday problems. Every single company. It's either with a product, a service, or a combination of both. Now, how you and your business go about accomplishing this can be the difference between short-term profit and long-term success for years to come. Once you've chosen, I'm going to use this skill, I'm going to use this talent, think of how you can take that talent or that skill and turn it into a service or turn it into a product. Again, I'm going to use myself for example because these are the questions you need to ask yourself, and then you'll do the same thing. So if I'm starting a business, it has to be something that I know I can do effectively, right? Or maybe I'm offering a product that can definitely solve a big issue. Maybe I had this issue. Maybe the job I worked at, the clients had this issue and I knew how to solve it, right? For me, for finance stuff, I provide information. If you're watching this video, you wanted to get some information on how to start a successful business, right? This information is providing a service. I also have products that I can attach to it. I have ebooks. I have coachings. For my effectiveness to communicate and also learning how to sell, I am actually selling myself in digital products. On top of that, there's affiliate links, there's sponsorships. I have to sell myself to companies. There are, even it may not be as black and white as you think when you're starting to think about what you can do, but you can find a way to solve people's problems. And if you could find a way to solve people's problems, trust me when I say the business will just flow in. And that's when you'll have to start using some of the things that you learn from on the job learning to learn how to manage that business. Okay. So, the most important thing though, more than anything else, and I know we're trying to start a business to make money, but there's one thing I think that's more important than making money. If you provide a service or a product, people need value, right? You may want to make a business to make money, but I can promise you, if you provide people value and don't think about making money up front, just thinking about solving a problem and then being valuable, the money will come. It'll come in droves. You just have to find a way to solve people's problems and provide them with value. And again, I can't tell you what that is, but I just want to lead you in the direction to where maybe we can figure it out together, how you come up with all of this. So hopefully all of these questions and this is getting some stuff going and you're thinking, oh, you know what? I'm good at sewing, right? I'm good at sewing and I'm good at photography. And you start making niche clothing or something and you could sell it on Etsy and you can promote it with social media and TikTok. And now you're providing people with this aesthetic that they love, and then you can push it this way. And then maybe you can also offer it to other brands to see if maybe they want to pick it up, a sample, and then they want to mass produce it. Like there's so many, and I'm spitballing things, right? But what I'm saying is like, there's so many different things that you can do. You just have to figure out what that is. But at the end of the day, whatever it is that you're doing, hopefully is solving a problem, whether it's entertaining people. Sometimes people need to get out of their reality. That's why they go out. That's why they try to have fun. That's why they need some distractions. Maybe you can be a form of entertainment to help them relieve stress with whatever it is that you're doing. And if you can garner enough attention, every brand in the world will want to market with you and pay you for that. Or you can have, again, like subscriptions to your service. There's so many different things that you could do. Hopefully this is, giving you an idea of how you start to cultivate that and then how you're going to make a product or a service or a combination of both and how you can be valuable to other people. And if you do that, I promise money will come. Money won't be an issue. It'll come when you do those things first. Now we're going to get to something that's more, we're going to get to something that I would say is more direct. You need to start a business plan. Once we've done all these things, we figured out what our skill or our talent is. And if we don't have a skill or a talent, or, we are starting to learn a skill that we can be effective at. Once you do that and you learn how you're going to use this to solve people's problems and provide them with value, cool. Let's start that business plan. All right. Now, if I were to sit and write a long, drawn out business plan, that could be, its own video. So I decided to break it down into uh, 3 parts. And here's the process. Number 1 is emergence. Once you know what you're going to do and you know the service or product that you're going to provide, brand development is first. Emergence. You want to write a mission statement. Just simply put what your goals are and the values of your business. And then you want to create a system of operations. For example, if you're going to start a business, and for me, like let's say that it was digital, you go back to the beginning of the year, this channel was non-existent, right? How am I going to get to people or have my operations? Well, the vehicle for my operations is going to be YouTube. I'm using this medium. I also have a combination of that and a Shopify channel and social media. This is how I'm going to create my system of operations to drive traffic and then to get them to whatever it is that the end is, right? And that brings us to number 2, marketing and market analysis. So a company needs to have a good handle on the current state of its industry and the existing competition. You should be able to survey the field of your industry and say, okay, that guy's the best. They're also very good. This person's very, very good as well. How can I compete? This is going to explain where your company, or your brand or your business fits in. Where do you fit into all of this? What type of customers do you plan to target? How easy or difficult may it be to grow this business? There are certain industries that are very niche where you will have to really, really dig to find the people who you want to work with. And then there are also businesses that you are going to have a lot of people who will definitely fall into that industry type. For example, if you sell food, if you have a food truck, there's a bunch of people that have a food truck, right? Everybody likes to eat. So you want to make sure that you're going to be able to, 1, effectively know who you're trying to target, how you're going to target them, and then also who's the competition and how can I fit in and compete with these individuals. You always want to do the market analysis. And then part 3 is execution. So this is the stage of the process where you want to raise brand awareness and you'll need to build a customer base. So either, in my case, at some point, if you want to start a YouTube channel, you have to put out a video, right? I could write all these plans down. Okay, I know I'm good at this. I know that I can help people if I do this. I'm going to come out. I'm going to make a video. This is who my target audience is. Cool. We did all of that. Now we got to put it out. And what's going to happen? Either it's going to go amazing or it's not going to be as good as we thought. Normally for everybody when they start, it's never as good as what you thought. But that's okay. That's a part of the process. Just like anything else in life. Nothing you do worthwhile comes easy. You have to go back and say, okay, yeah, that first video looked horrible, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say it like this. I'll stop using buffer words. You start to make improvements. I'll become more effective. I'm going to ask questions to people. I'm going to ask them what they want me to talk about. I'm going to start being more intentional. I'm going to start providing more value. You're going to start to figure out once you execute what is the best way to, to help your target audience, to help make your business more viable. Whatever that is, whatever your business is. And of course, you'll know yourself better than anyone else. So you'll be able to answer that question. And this is going to be, I think in simple terms, this is going to be a very simplistic way to start your new business plan. So number 5, we're going to talk about results. Now, I told you I worked in sales, and for sales and commission jobs, if any of you have worked in them, you know that results, literally every day, all you're looking at is results. You're just looking at how you get to see on paper exactly how good you're doing every single day. Every single day, all you're talking about is the result. I think no matter what business that you're in, if you have large corporations, there's a team who handles this. But for you, you're going to have to handle this yourself. You're going to have to be able to know how effective you are based off the results after you've found your skill and passion. You've, You figure out how you're going to solve a problem. You're going to provide people with value. You came up with the business strategy about how you're going to do it. You finally have executed, and you've done it for, let's say, a month or so, or a few months, and you're looking at the results. Now, when the results are in, you can start to see what it is that you're doing wrong and what it is that you're doing right. So I want to give you a brief story, a brief history. In 2008, a pair of San Francisco roommates named Brian and Joe built a website. All right. They were trying to house conference attendants who were shut out of an overbooked hotel, and they found 3 people who were willing to pay $80 per night for an air mattress and breakfast. They realized that they were onto something and created a website for people to rent homes and bedrooms. I'm sure at this point, you guys already know exactly where I'm going with this. So they knew that they were onto something. They just had an idea. The pair even recruited another friend. All right. And his name was Nathan. He was going to help them house attendees for the 2008 Democratic National Convention in Denver. All right. A lot of people signed up for their website. Sounds good, right? Sounds like everything's good. I have this idea. People like it. They're signing up. Only problem is it didn't make any money. Now, how could that be? How can people be signing up for this? It sounds good, but it's not making any money. What's going on? Their company was nearly bankrupt in the beginning, earning just $200 a week. Desperate, the 3 guys maxed out their credit cards and applied their design talents to limited edition cereal boxes. They started making cereal boxes to earn extra money to help continue their business. And they raised $30,000 by doing this. Meanwhile, they noticed something. They noticed something about their business. This is where, looking at the results kind of comes into play. They noticed that the people who were signing up for their website and putting together listings had really bad photos of the listings. They were really, 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 really bad. So they scraped all the money that they had. They flew to New York and visited 40 of their hosts. And their host let them know, okay, well, this is how we normally do it. And they said, all right, let's improve this because it's not looking the best. Let's make it look better for people that may want to stay, at your houses. So they improved the listings. And the profile photos that they updated performed better. They actually increased their sales 100%, and they made $400 per week, the most growth they had seen in 8 months. And more importantly, they spent time talking to their host. You want to talk to your audience, you want to talk to your clients, you want to talk to people. And the founder realized that they were capturing unique markets. They understood their market. So unlike chain hotels who craved, they were more of what's going on with the city. They wanted some people who wanted to be more authentic. They wanted the experience of staying in a residential area away from commercial centers, away from that. They wanted to feel like when they went to a city, they lived in that city. So they went with suggestions that they got from locals. They talked to locals. They found out some good things from them, and they overhauled their website. They made these improvements based on the results. And the company, of course, as you probably realize, was Airbnb. All right. They reached profitability in 2016. It took them 8 years to become a profitable company. Even as local governments began passing ordinances to collect occupancy taxes, and then they outright banned Airbnb in some states. By late 2019, Airbnb was valued at $31 billion. So even when they became profitable, they still had to tackle a bunch of hurdles, right? This is business. The whole point of this story is nothing's going to work out the way that you think it is at the beginning, but you don't stop. You go back to the drawing board. You say, hey, this is what's wrong. This is what's right. And then once we do that, that is going to be the thing that will bring us into number 6, which is improvements. All right. For improvements, I put together three things I felt like were important. One, you want to be consistent. If I were to get 2 views on a video, that won't stop me from doing 3 videos a week. That won't stop me. You want to be consistent. Whatever is working, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Remove any practices that aren't conducive to your business goals. Anything that's not working, you want to get rid of it. All right. You want to analyze your competition at all times. You want to have a pulse on your industry, a pulse on the field, a pulse on your area. You need to know exactly what's going on with this industry. Even if you're successful, do not become stagnant. Don't get complacent. That's the fastest way to start failing. You can be as successful as you want. Look at Blockbuster. Look at Redbox. Redbox replaced Blockbuster. Blockbuster replaced Netflix. And now if you go to Netflix, because they didn't have, in my opinion, they did not have enough original content to make their platform last. And in my opinion, I don't think Netflix is going to be a streaming service that will be, I'm not going to say it won't be around, but maybe it'll be acquired in an acquisition and merge with someone else later on. But the point is, if you start to get complacent in business and you don't analyze your competition, you can fail even after being successful. So you can't afford to ignore your competitors. Instead, take time to study and learn from them. Larger companies devote significant amounts of resources to obtaining that sort of information on their competitor and their competition's intelligence. So if you work in an industry now, look at the job you're working at. If you can do something or solve a problem, or you're good at this and you've acquired a skill, the reason why you were able to acquire that skill and you can solve a problem is because you know that industry in and out. You have a pulse on it. Don't ever lose that. And the last thing I would say is be creative. You want to learn from competition. You want to be consistent, but you always want to look for ways to improve your business and make it stand out from the competition. You always want to have that extra leg up where you're trying new things that maybe the competition never tried before. You know what's worked. You've seen what's worked. We all know what works. But don't be afraid to test out new things that could be even better. You want to be an innovator, not a follower. But that doesn't mean that you can't learn from what has worked. All right. Even though those may seem like contradictions, it's the only way that you can have a great business. You have to keep what works. You have to study the competition, but you also have to be willing to be innovative and to also try new things. Right. So that pretty much sums up my 6 steps when it comes to running a successful business, or 6 phases, however you want to look at it. I want to also just, you want to be prepared to make sacrifices. Having your own business, it often requires putting in more time than if you were working a regular job, despite what you may see on social media, and despite what it seems like people are trying to sell you. It's not easy. And that can mean spending less time with family, friends. You won't get the weekends, you may not get the vacation that you want. You have to work hard. Owning a business may not be for everyone as well. If after an honest self-evaluation, you decide that you aren't cut out for it, then you can save yourself a lot of time and grief, and probably a lot of money by just pursuing another career path. So even if you've done this, or maybe you watched this video and maybe it wasn't valuable to you, maybe it just had you thought, maybe that's not for me, but maybe it is for you. Hopefully it sheds some light on exactly what it takes to run a successful business. And while, of course, I could not tailor this to each individual situation, and while, I'm not able to sit down with you and create an exact plan that may be tailored to your needs, I hope that at the very least, if you do still want to start a business, you have an idea of how to come up with the idea, you have an idea of, product and service, you have an idea of how to provide value, and you have an idea of how to take this thing, come up with a business plan really quick, and then start to actually make moves to implement this stuff and then start to improve it. Those are all the steps in a nutshell, and that is my summary. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any other maybe stories about your business, anything that you can speak to, please drop a like or drop a comment, but also but comment. I would love to have conversations underneath this video. You guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.